Alright, today let's talk about PACS basic security concepts. I think this is a great quote from the late Stephen Hawking. I think computer viruses should count as life. I think it says something about human nature that the only form of life we have created so far is purely destructive. We've created life in our own image. So, why do I need to secure my PACS system? The easy answer is that there are numerous laws that require you to do that. For example, HIPAA is full of privacy and data security laws. And there are more rules and laws for protected health information from regulatory agencies such as the Joint Commission, ACR, FDA, and others than I could possibly list and explain. This would be a 9-hour lecture if I tried to cover all the rules that affect protected health information. The more complex answer is that the information contained in PACS in the wrong hands can be used for unscrupulous purposes. And there are all kinds of bad. Generally speaking, there isn't any financial data stored in PACS, which makes it a low-value target for cyber criminals. However, all information has a value. And to expand on that, if I was going to try to steal financial data from a hospital, I would go after the accounting system, or the finance system, or the billing system. Those are soft targets full of all of you, the patient's financial data. I wouldn't try to go to PACS and get your name and your social security number and then try to build a profile of your identity that I could steal. That's taken a long way around, and PACS is harder to get into than the financial system. However, there are some common types of inappropriate access of the PACS system, and they are snooping. Snooping, this is the most common type of inappropriate access. It involves searching for data not related to direct patient care. In other words, if you work as a technologist in the ER department and you have a friend who's a nurse and she gets hurt on the job, and you go looking up her record just to see what's up with your friend, she's not a patient of yours, that's snooping. Data destruction. This involves viruses or malware that alter or destroy data. Sometimes you get angry patients that are hackers and they want to inject a virus in to destroy your data. And last but not least, corporate espionage. And I know that when we think of corporate espionage, we think of stealing, the recipe for Kentucky Fried Chicken. In the healthcare world, corporate espionage, particularly in radiology, would involve stealing your referrals, right? So Dr. A refers all of his MRIs to your competitor hospital. If you can find that out, you can then, send an email to that physician and say, hey, send all your patients to our hospital. We'll give you a faster turnaround time, or something. We'll do something for you to make us more attractive. So referral patterns is a big thing that people try to find out as a form of corporate espionage. And these are just a few of many possible nefarious things that can be done with the data obtained from the PACS system. So hopefully you see the need to secure your data now. Well, how do I secure the data? There are 3 basic elements to PACS data security. They are administrative safeguards, physical safeguards, technical safeguards. You know there's going to be a test question based on this slide. The 3 basic elements to PACS data security: administrative safeguards, physical safeguards, technical safeguards. Administrative safeguards. These are your security policies. They outline your security management process, and they include policies for granting system access, auditing system access, policies for security violations, etc. And there are 2 key attributes for effective security policies. They need to keep the data secure, and at the same time, they need to allow fast, open access to clinical information for authorized users. Right? So think about that. If you put all of your data in a vault and you build a wall around it and then you build guards around it, you would protect the data. Nobody would ever get to it. But at the same time, this is healthcare data. Physicians and nurses need this information quickly, particularly in an emergency situation. So you have to make sure that the right people who are supposed to see the data can get in and see it really quickly, and the bad people can never see it. So that's the trade-off in administrative safeguards. Physical safeguards. These are tangible security elements in the environment. Examples of physical safeguards are the door to the network operations closet in radiology is locked and only IT has a key to it. To go into the PACS server room, you have to sign in and out of a logbook. To physically access a PACS PC, you need a special key to remove it from its holder. In other words, the PACS PC is put into a holder on the side of a table or in a cage on the floor where to get to that PC you have to have a key to physically access that PC and make changes to it. Physical safeguards are things you can see and touch and that either control access or record who has access to places or devices related to PACS. Last but not least are technical safeguards. Technical safeguards are basically software access and monitoring controls. Examples of technical safeguards are a user needs a login and password to access the system. Access control based on a user role. So a radiologist may have access to the entire patient record, whereas a nurse may only have access to a record that is her patient in her specialty. So an orthopedics nurse only has access to the orthopedic parts of the record. Data encryption. I think that's self-explanatory, encrypting your data. Those are technical safeguards. Technical safeguards are things that the system is programmed to do to control or monitor what a user does in the system. So they tend to be more automatic in nature. For the most important parts of the PACS system, it's a good idea to combine both physical and technical safeguards. This is called two-factor authentication. It's a combination of what you have and what you know. For example, to access the PACS database server, you might require special badge access to the room where it's kept, plus a unique login password combination for the database server. This combines the what you need to have, your badge coded with access to the server room, plus what you know, the username and password to the server. Without having both things, you cannot access the database server. And so that's two-factor authentication. It's a big important point in security, and we'll talk about two-factor authentication security a lot. Hacking. A security hacker is someone who seeks to breach defenses and exploit weaknesses in a computer system or network. It's very unlikely that you will have to defend your PACS system from attacks by the black hats of the computer underground from outside your walls. The network firewalls and complexity make that too difficult to be profitable. But what about internal hackers? How hard would it be for someone already inside the network to access data without proper authorization? And would your audit process catch them? Probably not. Most hacking of the healthcare variety comes from inside the network, not from external threats. Social engineering. This is the primary method by which nefarious individuals get unauthorized access to your system. Social engineering is methodology by which a fully authenticated user is duped into sharing their access or giving access to someone else. An example of social engineering would be the bad guy posts a notice that the number for the IT help desk has been changed. When an unsuspecting user calls a new number, they are asked for their username and password, which they unwittingly give to the bad guy. Now he has a valid username and password that he can use to access the system as that person. Another type of social engineering thing that bad guys do is called phishing. You can look that up on the open internet. I'm not going to go into a whole explanation of phishing. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or post them to the discussion board. I would be happy to answer your questions about basic security concepts. And remember, passwords are like underwear. You don't let people see it, you should change it very often, and you shouldn't share it with strangers. Thank you for watching.